Sometimes the most beautiful creations come from the simplest things. Just like in life, it's not about having everything perfect, but it's about embracing the process. Today, let's discover how to take a little creativity, mix it with a whole lot of faith, and transform something ordinary into something extraordinary as we make some DIY textured paste. Our ingredients are going to be very simple. You just need some water. You need about a 1/4 cup of baking soda. You're also going to need a tablespoon of white Elmer's glue and then some acrylic paint in whatever color you want. I got these little containers at Dollar Tree. You get 10 for $1.25, and they are great because when you're not using your textured paste, you can actually close the lid and it'll save for you. Now remember, this is using homemade materials, and so you're not getting a lot of preservatives, and so it's not going to last probably as long as a store-bought product would. I wanted to create this texture paste because I really love the idea of turning everyday things into something that is magical and that you would not expect. And I believe that the best way to learn is by playing, by doing, by having fun, by enjoying the process, because it's through the mistakes that we learn. And so today, let's play together and see what beautiful things we can create. Since my containers are really small, I'm going to go ahead and use 2 different containers, and then I'll mix it up, kind of eyeballing what I think is about half in each one, and then I will put them together and mix them all together so that we can make sure that we're getting the right consistency. You can, of course, avoid this step by using a container that's bigger, but I knew that I wanted to have different colors, and I knew that once the baking soda got mixed with the liquids, it was going to condense down, and these containers were going to be plenty big. In the video, I'm going to show you that I'm adding the baking soda first, then the glue, then water, and then the acrylic. But I would suggest that instead you do the baking soda, the glue, the acrylic, and then the water, because remember, the acrylic is going to have some water in it, and so you may not need to add as much water as you think. I'm Ingrid Carlsen, in case you didn't already know, and I am so glad that you are here with me today. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and to like it, share it, comment, all the things. That really helps me out, and I really appreciate it. I also want to say, if you're not already following, this is a great time to pause the video before we get fully started and go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as well as hit the bell so you get notified anytime any new video comes out. If you've had a hard day, a hard week, hard year, this is a great project for you to do. It allows you to slow down and enjoy the process. Listen to the way that the baking soda moves as you stir. There's a calming rhythm in these little small moments where art meets everyday life. As I was making the texture paste, my first attempt didn't come out right. The consistency was just off, and I had to keep mixing it and adding just a little more water to adjust it until it was right. And it reminded me of how God works in our lives when we go through trials or difficult situations, how His hand is refining us and shaping us to become who we're meant to be as His children. Just like the texture paste needed adjustment, when we go through challenges, it helps us to grow and to develop the right characters. It's like James 1:2-4 says, "Count in all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds, for you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness, and the steadfastness has its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing." So today I want to encourage you, if you're going through trials and tribulations, if you feel like things are not going right for you, God has a purpose for you. And I've said this before, and I mean it all the time, not just this video, not just the videos that I mention it, but if you ever need prayer, please feel free to privately message me over on Instagram. It's the same, Ingrid Carlsen or Kara Tootie, or you can leave it down in the comments below, and then you'll have many of us praying for you. One of the reasons I love YouTube so much is because I myself am a visual learner. I want to see how something's done, not just be told how to do it. And so I want to show you here the consistency that you are looking for. The thicker your consistency, the less your texture paste is going to run or leak through your stencils. But it's also going to be a little harder to scrape, and it's going to be thicker on your page. It's also going to take a little longer to dry, so just keep that in mind. I like testing it with my fingers, and if you have texture paste that you've bought at the store, you can always do a side-by-side comparison to get the right texture that you want. And of course, since we're using such little product, you can always make several batches and see which one you like. Make a thicker one and make a thinner one, and then decide. I added white acrylic paint to both batches, but then on one of them, I want it to be a little different in color, so I decided to use one of my Tim Holtz re-inkers in pumice stone. It's a really pretty gray color, and what's really great about this is you can build up the color as you want, and I will do that a little later in the video. I'm going to go ahead and put down a mat so that it's easier just to wipe everything down. I'm also bringing over a tub. I'm also bringing over a tub of hot water with just a little bit of soap in it so that I can go ahead and stick my stencils in as I am done with them. That way I don't have to necessarily sit there and clean each one, but they can soak in the water and then I can wipe them off once we're all done. We're going to test the texture paste on lots of different substrates. I'm going to use some of my printables as well as a Dollar Tree coin envelope, some 6x6 scrapbooking paper, an altered index card that we made the other day, some vintage book page, the writing tablet from Dollar Tree, and of course, my favorite, some vintage music paper. I'm also going to add some avocado dyed paper, some coffee dyed paper, and then some of the Dollar Tree paper pack paper that I've already embossed. I'm going to be using a palette knife, and I'm showing you two different ones. The one on the right, I believe you can buy something very similar at Dollar Tree, if not the exact same one. But don't worry, if you don't have a palette knife, you can also use an old gift card or credit card to do the exact same thing. And if you don't have any stencils, you don't have to worry. There's other ways that you can use this texture paste. Anything that makes a texture can be used. So that can be leaves, a fork, even your fingers, anything that creates a pattern, and there is no wrong way to do this. And as you spread the paste, think about the way that life layers itself in beautiful ways. Each texture, every single stroke of your tool adds depth and tells the story that you want to tell. This can be a messy process, so make sure that you have some paper towels on hand so that you can wipe up as you're going along. I like to have two paper towels, one that is wet so that I can wipe down my surface, and then one that is dry so that when I put my papers down, they don't get wet. And play around with your textures. After you've added one layer of texture, you can add more textures on top of your other texture. Now you can do like I did and do it while it's still wet, or you can go on the safe side, let it dry, and then add more to it. And on that same note, then you can also mix the colors and you can add different colors to it. If you've never tried modeling paste, this is a great way to step into it without having to make a huge investment in it. And then also you can kind of learn what you like and what you don't like. There is so much that can be done with the pieces once they're finished. And if you'd like to see me build a tag or make some other stuff with the papers that we make today, then leave a comment down below and say tag and I'll be happy to do another video for you. The process of using modeling paste or texture paste is so meditative, and honestly, this is a great project to do when you're stuck and you don't know what else to do. Just like you make coffee dyed papers, you can make these ahead of time to have on hand to use in other projects. So you can build your stash so that you have pieces that are ready to be used. How adorable are these little round daisies? They are so sweet and happy. And if you want to ask me where the stencils are from, I have no idea. I know the ones that say Tim Holtz, I know are Tim Holtz, but that's about the extent of it. If they're not marked, I've had most of my stencils for a long time. I've told you guys before that I used to love going to Tuesday morning and picking up items, and those, probably a lot of them, I have found through Tuesday morning. So I'm not really sure what they are, but what I do want to tell you is if you're in the same boat as me and you have supplies that you have not pulled out, yep, you, then this is a great time for you to pull them out now and use them. And you can tell that I really loved this print because I couldn't stop using it. It is so adorable. The most awesome thing about this project is that you can experiment without worrying about mistakes. It's all about building layers and seeing where the creativity takes you, and you don't have to worry that you spent $10 on something that you might not use again.
Someone is at front door.
Playing with the colors of the paste is a great way to explore new techniques and just to have fun with what you're playing with and see how your project transforms. And if you don't like it, again, you can make more very quickly with very little materials and very inexpensively. And you can create more and more and more. So these are all the finished pieces, and I just want to show you how durable it is. Now, these little ones, kind of, if you push really hard, they rub off, but even these that are a little bit smaller, they don't rub off, and they're really strong. It's a little pliable, so you can bend it and it's not really cracking like sometimes molding paste tends to do. Now, I don't know over time if these can peel off, but I think it's the same idea with the molding paste. And since you're using the glue as a binder, then it shouldn't. It should hold its shape as well as the texture and the grip onto your paper. I wanted to also show you this up close because this is a great indication of how you lay on, or how thick you lay on the modeling paste, is the different effects you can get. So you can see here that this is definitely more raised than this, and that's because on here, specifically up here, I scraped more of the product off, and you can see where it's thicker. Like this one is probably one of the thickest ones. So depending on how raised you want it, that's how much you will scrape off. There's so much beauty to be found in just the simplest things. And I believe that when we open ourselves up to the creative process, to having fun and getting our hands dirty, we're reminded of the beauty around us, in our homes, in our hearts, and in the world around us. I hope that this project has inspired you to create something beautiful with your hands today. And of course, if you share on Instagram or on YouTube, feel free to tag me and I will love to see your creations. I thank you so much for being here, for all of your support, your comments, and your love. They mean the world to me. And honestly, I could not express that into words. And I want to tell you something, just as special as you are to me, I want to tell you, in case you haven't heard today, you are forgiven, you are redeemed, and most importantly, you're a child of God. Until next time, love you. Bye.